The tension on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta has officially reached a boiling point, and fans are on the edge of their seats as Jessica and Jasmine step forward with explosive accusations against Rasheeda and Kirk. What began as subtle whispers backstage has erupted into full-blown confrontations, and the latest episode promises to leave viewers speechless. From heated exchanges to unexpected betrayals, emotions ran higher than ever, and the family that fans thought was unshakable now appears divided. Jessica's eyes flashed with fury as she confronted Rasheeda, accusing her of manipulating situations behind the scenes, while Jasmine wasn't holding back either, pointing fingers at Kirk for what she called long-standing double standards that have finally come to light. As cameras rolled, the atmosphere in the room was electric. Friends tried to mediate, but the drama only escalated. Social media has already exploded with reactions, with fans shocked and divided, debating who is truly at fault. Just when you thought the conflict couldn't get any more intense, a secret from the past surfaced, threatening to upend everything the family has built. This isn't just reality TV, it's a storm of emotions, secrets, and confrontations that fans won't want to miss. The question on everyone's mind is clear: how will Rasheeda and Kirk respond, and can these relationships survive the firestorm Jessica and Jasmine have unleashed? Prepare yourself, because this episode of LHHATL is going to be unforgettable. The tension had been simmering for weeks, but no one expected it to erupt like this. Jessica stormed into the room, her heels clicking against the floor as she locked eyes with Rasheeda. The air was thick with anticipation, and everyone in the studio seemed to sense that something monumental was about to happen. "I've had enough," Jessica shouted, her voice echoing across the room. "You can't keep pretending everything is fine when it's not." Kirk shifted uncomfortably, glancing at Rasheeda with a mix of confusion and frustration. Jasmine, standing just a few steps behind Jessica, crossed her arms and added, "And don't even get me started. You've been hiding things from us for years, and now it's time someone spoke up." The room went silent for a moment, but the silence was broken by a low murmur from the crew and other cast members, all trying to process the sudden explosion of emotion. Fans watching live on social media were already buzzing, typing furiously, shocked that the drama had escalated so quickly. Jessica's face was red, her eyes blazing as she recounted moments that no one else had seen, moments where Rasheeda and Kirk supposedly manipulated situations to their advantage. "You act like everything is perfect, but it's all an act," she said, pointing directly at Rasheeda. "People deserve to know the truth." Rasheeda's calm facade began to crack, and Kirk's jaw tightened. "This is ridiculous," Kirk muttered, but Jessica wasn't backing down. She turned to him, her voice dripping with accusation. "Don't act innocent. You've been part of this from day one, and now everyone is seeing it." Jasmine stepped forward, her tone sharp and unwavering. "We're not trying to attack you. We're exposing what's been hidden for too long. If you can't handle the truth, that's your problem." The tension was palpable. Friends and family tried to intervene, placing hands on shoulders, whispering, attempting to calm the storm, but their efforts were futile. The energy in the room was electric, and the cameras captured every twitch, every glare, every whispered insult. The confrontation escalated further when Jessica revealed a private conversation she had recorded months earlier, a conversation that allegedly showed Rasheeda and Kirk plotting behind the scenes. "You think you can control the narrative, but we have proof," Jessica said, slamming her phone on the table. Gasps filled the room as the video played, showing what appeared to be Rasheeda and Kirk discussing strategies that would benefit them at the expense of others. Kirk's face drained of color, and Rasheeda's lips pressed tightly together. Fans watching online were losing it, their comments pouring in by the second. "Rasheeda is hiding so much," one tweet read. "I can't believe Kirk would do this," another said. Amidst the chaos, Jasmine continued to press her point, recounting instances where she felt undermined or dismissed, painting a picture of a family divided by secrets and unspoken tensions. The drama was compounded by the reactions of others on set, some siding with Jessica and Jasmine, others defending Rasheeda and Kirk, creating a whirlwind of opinions and emotions. The conversation spiraled, with accusations flying back and forth, voices rising, and tempers flaring. Just when it seemed like the argument had reached its peak, a shocking revelation came to light. Jessica produced a series of old messages that suggested a betrayal from someone no one expected. The room went silent again, everyone leaning in to catch a glimpse, their expressions ranging from disbelief to outrage. Rasheeda's eyes widened, and Kirk's usual composure faltered as the messages were read aloud, revealing intentions and actions that had been carefully hidden for years. The tension now shifted from anger to shock, and whispers of betrayal spread like wildfire. Fans online were frantically refreshing their feeds, hashtags trending as emotions ran high across the platform. Jessica and Jasmine, emboldened by the reactions, continued to press, pointing out inconsistencies in past statements, challenging Rasheeda and Kirk to explain themselves. "How can we trust anything you say now?" Jessica demanded. The room felt smaller, the pressure mounting with each passing second, as if the very walls were closing in on the family. Friends tried to mediate, suggesting breaks, but the confrontation had taken on a life of its own. Tensions rose further when an unexpected ally stepped in, a cast member who had previously stayed neutral, now voicing support for Jessica and Jasmine. This move caught everyone off guard, further isolating Rasheeda and Kirk and intensifying the conflict. The air was thick with accusations, denials, and revelations, a perfect storm of drama that no one could have predicted. The cameras captured every reaction, ensuring that the intensity would be felt by viewers everywhere. Just as the confrontation seemed never-ending, Kirk finally spoke up, his voice strained but firm. "This isn't what it looks like," he said, trying to regain control. But Jessica's retort was sharp and immediate. "It looks exactly like what it is," she shot back, her finger pointed directly at him. Emotions ran high, the room divided into sides, friends and family unsure where they stood as alliances shifted and secrets were unveiled. The fallout was immediate, with whispers of further betrayals and unseen tensions bubbling to the surface. Even those who had remained quiet found themselves drawn into the chaos, forced to take sides or confront their own hidden feelings. The scene was set for even more drama, as unresolved questions lingered in the air, and the family found itself teetering on the edge of complete upheaval. Fans could hardly contain themselves, the intensity of the confrontation already dominating social media feeds, and everyone wondered what would happen next, knowing that the storm was far from over. The tension didn't ease after Kirk's attempt to explain, in fact, it only seemed to intensify. Jessica and Jasmine, fueled by the reactions of the crew and social media, pressed harder, their voices overlapping as they recounted more instances of manipulation and favoritism. "It's not just about what you said last week," Jasmine declared, stepping closer to Rasheeda. "It's about everything you've done since the beginning. We see the patterns now, and it's disturbing." Rasheeda's calm exterior began to crumble, her hands shaking slightly as she tried to respond. "You're twisting everything," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, but Jessica cut her off sharply. "Twisting? I have receipts. Proof. It's all documented, Rasheeda. You can't deny what's right in front of you." Kirk, meanwhile, ran his hands through his hair, clearly overwhelmed by the mounting accusations. He opened his mouth to speak again, but Jasmine's gaze locked onto him with an intensity that made him pause. "We're done letting you control the narrative," she said. "It ends here." The cameras captured every second, every flash of emotion, making it clear that this confrontation was destined to go down in reality TV history. Just as Rasheeda tried to regain her composure, a whispered comment from another cast member sent shockwaves through the room. Apparently, someone had overheard a conversation months ago that suggested a hidden agenda, a betrayal that nobody had anticipated. The revelation caused murmurs to ripple across the studio floor, and Jessica seized the moment to press her advantage. "So now we know there's more," she said, her eyes flashing. "It's not just about what you've done to us, it's about what you've done to everyone else behind our backs." Rasheeda's face turned pale, and Kirk's usual bravado faltered. The discussion escalated into a heated argument, with accusations flying from every direction. Friends and family attempted to intervene, but the situation had spiraled beyond simple mediation. Every attempt at calm seemed only to ignite further sparks. Meanwhile, fans online were going wild, flooding social media with reactions, theories, and memes capturing the intensity of the moment. "I can't believe Rasheeda's secrets are coming out," one post read. "Jessica and Jasmine are fearless," another commented. The pressure in the room reached a tipping point when Jasmine revealed a series of texts that suggested Rasheeda had been orchestrating certain events to manipulate the outcomes in her favor. The messages were explicit, leaving little room for denial. Kirk's defense crumbled under the weight of evidence, and Rasheeda struggled to maintain any sense of authority. "This isn't fair," Rasheeda finally blurted, her voice cracking. "You're taking everything out of context." Jessica shot back immediately. "Context? We've been watching you manipulate and deceive for years. Enough is enough." The room seemed to vibrate with the intensity of emotions, anger, betrayal, shock, and disbelief mingled, creating an atmosphere that was almost suffocating. An unexpected twist occurred when a longtime friend of the family stepped forward, corroborating Jessica and Jasmine's claims and revealing even more details that no one had anticipated. This revelation further isolated Rasheeda and Kirk, making it clear that the family's unity was under serious threat. Tensions continued to rise as each side presented their version of the story, voices raised, fingers pointed, and tempers flaring. Every accusation was met with a denial, every denial challenged with evidence, creating a cycle of confrontation that seemed endless. Fans were captivated, commenting on every reaction, dissecting every expression, and debating fiercely over who was truly in the wrong. The conflict reached another dramatic peak when Jessica confronted Rasheeda about a secret meeting that had taken place weeks earlier, a meeting that allegedly involved making decisions behind the family's back. "You think we wouldn't find out?" Jessica demanded. "We know everything. Stop pretending like we don't matter." Kirk, trying once more to defend himself, stammered, "It's not what you think," but Jessica interrupted, "No, it is what we think, and it's enough to see who's really been pulling the strings." The room's energy was electric, the stakes higher than ever. Friends and family who had been neutral now felt compelled to take sides, and the division within the household was more apparent than ever. Even those who had remained silent could no longer avoid the tension, their expressions betraying anxiety and concern. The confrontation showed no signs of slowing down, as each revelation seemed to open the door to another, deeper secret. Every accusation unearthed emotions long buried, and every response added fuel to the fire. The cameras continued rolling, capturing raw, unfiltered emotion, ensuring that the drama would resonate with viewers long after the episode aired. Just when it seemed like the argument had reached its peak, Jessica dropped another bombshell, a revelation that suggested not only personal betrayal but also financial manipulation, shaking the foundation of trust within the family. Kirk and Rasheeda exchanged panicked glances, their defenses weakening under the relentless pressure. The crew whispered among themselves, and cast members exchanged uneasy looks, realizing that this confrontation could have lasting repercussions beyond the episode. Social media exploded further, fans debating and analyzing every moment, some defending Rasheeda and Kirk, others siding wholeheartedly with Jessica and Jasmine. The storm of emotions in the room mirrored the frenzy online, creating a feedback loop of tension and suspense that seemed unstoppable. As the confrontation continued, it became evident that nothing would be resolved quickly. Alliances were forming and shifting, secrets were being revealed at a relentless pace, and the once solid family appeared fractured beyond repair. The air was charged, and every second seemed to stretch, filled with accusations, denials, and shocking revelations, leaving everyone present, and those watching from home, wondering how far this drama could possibly go. Just when it seemed like the storm had reached its peak, an unexpected revelation threw the room into even greater chaos. Jessica pulled out a series of old emails and text messages that suggested Rasheeda had been intentionally keeping Kirk in the dark about certain decisions, manipulating situations to maintain control. "So all this time, you've been playing games," Jessica said, her voice rising, "and we were supposed to just sit here and trust you?" Kirk's face turned a deep shade of red, and he opened his mouth to respond, but Jessica wasn't finished. Jasmine stepped forward, her gaze sharp, and added, "It's not just control. It's betrayal. You've been scheming behind our backs while pretending everything is fine." The room was electric, every word hitting like a thunderclap. Friends and family tried to calm the situation, but their voices were drowned out by the escalating tension. "You think we're blind?" Jessica continued. "We've been watching, we've been listening, and now it's time the world sees the truth." Rasheeda's hands trembled as she tried to find her voice, but the words caught in her throat. Kirk, usually the calm anchor, was visibly rattled, pacing back and forth, trying to formulate a defense. The crew and other cast members exchanged uneasy glances, sensing that the confrontation was spiraling out of control. The drama intensified when Jasmine revealed a private conversation she had recorded, where Rasheeda allegedly admitted to orchestrating situations to make certain cast members look bad. Gasps echoed around the room as the recording played, leaving no room for denial. Fans online were going wild, flooding social media with reactions, memes, and commentary, all captivated by the explosive confrontation. "I can't believe Rasheeda would do this," one fan tweeted. "Jessica and Jasmine are fearless," another commented, while a third post read, "Kirk looked so shook. This is insane." The tension escalated further when a longtime family friend, who had remained neutral, stepped forward with corroborating evidence, confirming Jessica and Jasmine's claims and adding even more details. This revelation left Rasheeda and Kirk isolated, their defenses crumbling under the weight of mounting accusations. Voices rose, tempers flared, and the room became a battlefield of words. Jessica and Jasmine pressed their advantage, pointing out inconsistencies in past statements, highlighting moments where Rasheeda and Kirk's actions contradicted their public persona. The confrontation was relentless, with every accusation answered by a defensive response, creating a cycle of conflict that seemed unending. The cameras captured every flicker of emotion, every raised eyebrow, every sigh of frustration, ensuring that viewers would feel the intensity of the drama. Just when it seemed like the chaos might reach a breaking point, a shocking twist emerged. Evidence surfaced that suggested one of the family members had been secretly communicating with an outside party, possibly leaking information and fueling the conflict. The room went silent, eyes darting to one another, suspicion and shock spreading like wildfire. Kirk and Rasheeda exchanged worried glances, realizing that this revelation could further damage their credibility and relationships. Jessica and Jasmine, sensing the shift in power, pressed on, determined to expose the full extent of the deception. "So now we're finding out there's more," Jessica said, her voice firm, "and we're not stopping until every secret is uncovered." The energy in the room reached a fever pitch, every person present caught in the whirlwind of emotion, drama, and revelation. Fans online continued to react in real time, debating, speculating, and sharing their theories about what would happen next. The tension seemed uncontainable, as if the family's foundation had been shaken to its core. As the confrontation raged on, Rasheeda attempted to regain control, her voice rising, trying to explain her side of the story, but the moment had already shifted. The tide was in Jessica and Jasmine's favor, and every attempt at defense only seemed to deepen the divide. Friends and family, unsure where to stand, were pulled into the conflict, forced to navigate the intricate web of accusations and betrayals. The confrontation continued with no clear resolution in sight, each revelation opening the door to another, deeper secret. The family's unity appeared increasingly fragile, as trust eroded with every passing moment. The cameras captured it all, the raw emotion, the heartbreak, the anger, and the shock, ensuring that viewers would feel every ounce of tension as if they were standing in the room themselves. The drama seemed endless, a relentless storm of emotion, secrets, and confrontation that promised to redefine relationships and alliances within the family. Every accusation, every revelation, every defensive word pushed the situation further, leaving everyone, both on set and at home, wondering how the storm would finally settle and what the long-term consequences would be for Rasheeda, Kirk, Jessica, and Jasmine. The episode had already cemented itself as one of the most intense in LHHATL history, a whirlwind of betrayal, confrontation, and emotion that no one would soon forget. The room had barely begun to recover from the shock of the secret communications revelation when yet another bombshell dropped. Jessica, her eyes fierce and unwavering, revealed a series of financial records that suggested Kirk had been making decisions without Rasheeda's knowledge, contradicting everything he had claimed earlier. "So all that talk about transparency?" she snapped, pointing directly at him. "It was a lie. You've been hiding things, controlling things, and making choices that affect everyone without consulting the family." Kirk's face tightened, and he opened his mouth to speak, but Jasmine cut him off, her tone icy. "Don't even try to justify it. We have proof, Kirk, and it's more than enough to show how manipulative this has been." Rasheeda's composure wavered, and she clutched the edge of a table, her knuckles white. "I didn't know it had gotten this far," she whispered, but Jessica shook her head, her voice rising in disbelief. "You've been part of this the whole time, Rasheeda. Pretending, hiding, manipulating." The family was left in the dark, and now it's all coming to light. The confrontation intensified as other cast members, some of whom had stayed neutral, began chiming in, sharing their own experiences and observations that supported Jessica and Jasmine's claims. The room felt like a powder keg, ready to explode with every new revelation. Fans online were completely consumed, tweeting, posting, and commenting as if they were watching a live battle unfold. "Rasheeda is so busted," one fan wrote. "Jessica and Jasmine are finally exposing the truth," said another. The tension reached a new level when Jasmine revealed an incident that allegedly occurred during a family gathering, where Rasheeda and Kirk's actions had humiliated certain family members while they pretended nothing had happened. The air in the room grew heavier with every word, each accusation slicing deeper into the fragile fabric of trust. Kirk tried again to defend himself, insisting that there had been misunderstandings, but his words fell flat against the tide of evidence and testimonies that Jessica and Jasmine had amassed. "Misunderstandings?" Jessica shot back, her voice sharp and accusatory. "These aren't misunderstandings, Kirk. They're patterns of deceit, and we're done pretending otherwise." The drama escalated further when a previously quiet friend revealed that they had overheard Rasheeda plotting to manipulate certain events to her advantage, contradicting her earlier denials. The room gasped in unison, the weight of this new information pressing down on everyone present. Emotions ran high as accusations and defenses collided, the atmosphere thick with anger, betrayal, and disbelief. Jessica and Jasmine pressed relentlessly, exposing one inconsistency after another, forcing Rasheeda and Kirk to confront the reality that their actions were no longer hidden. The cameras captured every moment, every glare, every tremor of anger or fear, creating a sense of raw, unfiltered drama that would leave viewers glued to their screens. Just when it seemed that the confrontation could not get more intense, Jessica revealed a series of private messages between Kirk and an outside party, suggesting that he had been sharing confidential family matters. The revelation sent shockwaves through the room, leaving Rasheeda momentarily speechless and Kirk visibly shaken. Fans online erupted, sharing screenshots, creating memes, and dissecting every detail of the explosive confrontation. "Kirk betrayed the family?" one tweet read. "Jessica and Jasmine are exposing everything," another said. The conflict showed no signs of slowing as Jessica and Jasmine continued to unearth more evidence, each new detail intensifying the storm of emotions in the room. Allies of Rasheeda and Kirk attempted to intervene, but their efforts only seemed to add to the chaos, as tempers flared and voices rose even higher. The confrontation reached a fever pitch when Jessica and Jasmine confronted Rasheeda about the pattern of favoritism and hidden agendas, pointing out how certain family members had been consistently overlooked or undermined. The room's energy was electric, every word a spark igniting further tension. Social media buzzed with reactions, fans analyzing body language, interpreting words, and debating loyalties, making the drama feel larger than life. Rasheeda tried to defend herself, claiming that some actions had been misunderstood or misrepresented, but Jessica and Jasmine countered with detailed examples, leaving little room for doubt. Kirk, too, struggled to regain composure, realizing that his attempts at defense were being systematically dismantled. The confrontation showed no signs of resolution, each new revelation opening the door to another, deeper secret. Emotions ran raw, loyalties were tested, and the family's cohesion seemed to hang by a thread. The cameras continued to roll, capturing every heated exchange, every tear, every flash of anger, ensuring that viewers at home would feel the full weight of the unfolding drama. As the episode progressed, it became clear that this was more than just a fight, it was a reckoning, a moment that would redefine relationships, power dynamics, and trust within the family. Every accusation, every denial, every revelation pushed the situation further into chaos, leaving both those present and fans at home wondering how far the storm would go and whether the family could ever recover from the firestorm that Jessica and Jasmine had unleashed. The tension continued to escalate as the confrontation reached new heights, with Jessica and Jasmine refusing to let any detail go unchallenged. Jessica leaned in, her voice sharp and unrelenting. "You can't gaslight us anymore, Kirk. We've seen the patterns, we've heard the lies, and now it's time you face the consequences." Kirk's eyes darted around the room, searching for support, but the shifting alliances left him cornered. Rasheeda, her composure fraying, tried to interject. "You don't understand the full picture," she began, but Jasmine cut her off immediately. "We understand perfectly, Rasheeda. We see everything. It's not just about us, it's about how you've treated the family, the friends, and even the fans. Nothing stays hidden forever." The cameras captured every expression, every twitch of anger, every sign of unease, making the moment feel almost unbearable in its intensity. Friends and family who had been neutral now found themselves pulled into the crossfire, attempting to mediate but only managing to fan the flames further. Murmurs of past incidents began to surface, adding layers to the already explosive situation. The room felt electric, a storm of voices, accusations, and denials colliding at every turn. Jessica revealed more evidence, texts, emails, and recorded conversations, each piece corroborating her claims and tightening the grip on Kirk and Rasheeda. "This isn't personal," she said, her tone cutting. "It's accountability. You've had years to own up, and now we're holding you responsible." Rasheeda's hands trembled, and Kirk's usually steady gaze faltered under the weight of mounting proof. The conflict took another dramatic turn when a trusted family ally stepped forward, offering additional insight into situations that had previously been hidden from view. Their words confirmed many of the accusations, leaving Rasheeda and Kirk increasingly isolated. Emotions surged as more secrets came to light, creating a domino effect of revelations that seemed unstoppable. Fans online were in a frenzy, dissecting every moment, sharing theories, and debating loyalties. Hashtags exploded, trending across platforms as viewers weighed in, captivated by the raw and unfiltered display of conflict. The confrontation escalated when Jasmine recalled a family gathering where Rasheeda and Kirk's actions had caused humiliation and tension among relatives. "You don't get to act like nothing happened," she said, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and disbelief. "We've been silent for too long, but silence ends today." Kirk attempted another defense, insisting that misunderstandings had occurred, but the mounting evidence left him with little credibility. Jessica shot back, her tone unforgiving. "Misunderstandings? It's deception, Kirk, plain and simple. We're not fooled anymore." The atmosphere became charged as side conversations erupted, cast members exchanging whispers, friends and family taking sides, and the intensity spiraling further. Every revelation uncovered more layers of tension, more hidden motives, and more personal stakes, ensuring that the drama would continue to grip everyone present. As the confrontation progressed, Rasheeda's attempts at justification faltered, her voice wavering as she struggled to defend herself. Kirk, too, faced the undeniable weight of evidence, realizing that their attempts to maintain control had failed. The cameras captured it all, every detail, ensuring that viewers at home could feel the storm raging within the room. Jessica and Jasmine, sensing the momentum in their favor, pressed on relentlessly, exposing patterns of behavior, inconsistencies in past statements, and evidence of long-hidden agendas. The conflict seemed uncontainable, a perfect storm of anger, betrayal, and revelation that left the family teetering on the edge of collapse. Whispers of additional secrets threatened to surface at any moment, keeping everyone on edge. Fans online continued to react, captivated by the unfolding drama, some defending Rasheeda and Kirk, others praising Jessica and Jasmine for their courage in speaking out. The confrontation showed no signs of resolution, each moment layered with tension, emotion, and anticipation for what would come next. It was clear that this episode of LHHATL would be remembered as one of the most explosive, intense, and emotionally charged in the show's history. The family, once seemingly united, now faced a reckoning that threatened to redefine relationships, trust, and alliances forever. The room was charged with anticipation, each revelation adding weight, each accusation deepening the divide, and every word spoken leaving an indelible mark on those involved. The storm was far from over, and viewers, both in the room and online, knew that the drama would only intensify, building to a climax that none could predict, leaving everyone questioning what the future held for Rasheeda, Kirk, Jessica, and Jasmine. The confrontation showed no signs of slowing as Jessica and Jasmine continued to push, each revelation landing like a punch. Jessica's voice cut through the tension, unwavering and sharp. "We've been patient for too long," she said, pointing directly at Kirk. "We've watched you manipulate situations, hide the truth, and treat the family like pawns. It ends now." Kirk's face tightened, and he opened his mouth to defend himself, but Jasmine immediately stepped forward. "Don't even try, Kirk. All the proof is here, and we're not backing down." The room was electric, every person present feeling the weight of the escalating drama. Friends and family tried to intervene, but their attempts were futile, drowned out by the flood of accusations and counter-accusations. Rasheeda, visibly shaken, struggled to maintain her composure. "You're misrepresenting everything," she whispered, her voice cracking. "It's not what you think." Jessica's eyes blazed. "Not what we think. We have receipts, Rasheeda. Everything we're saying is backed by evidence. You can't gaslight us anymore." Tensions mounted as more hidden details surfaced. Jasmine revealed a past incident where Rasheeda and Kirk had allegedly undermined family members to gain control over decisions, a revelation that left several onlookers stunned. Fans online were erupting, live tweeting every moment, debating loyalties, and dissecting every glance and gesture. The room seemed charged with electricity, every whispered comment or side glance amplified by the intensity of the confrontation. The drama deepened when a family friend stepped forward, corroborating Jessica and Jasmine's accounts, revealing additional secrets and betrayals that had previously been hidden. The weight of this revelation left Rasheeda and Kirk momentarily speechless, their attempts to regain control faltering. "You've been hiding things for years," Jasmine said, her tone icy. "We're done letting you dictate the story. The truth is coming out, whether you like it or not." The air in the room was thick with tension. Each word, each gesture, each accusation escalated the conflict further, creating an almost tangible storm of emotion. Kirk attempted another defense, but Jessica cut him off. "We don't want your excuses. We want accountability, and it's long overdue." Rasheeda, sensing the tide turning, tried once more to assert her perspective. "You don't know the whole story," but the evidence presented left little room for doubt, and the room's energy continued to intensify. Unexpected twists kept surfacing, each adding another layer of tension. Jessica and Jasmine revealed private messages suggesting that Kirk had been working with an outsider to manipulate outcomes, a bombshell that left the family divided and stunned. Social media reactions poured in by the thousands, fans sharing, commenting, and speculating on the unfolding chaos. "Kirk can't hide now," one post read. "Jessica and Jasmine are fearless," another said. The confrontation escalated as Jessica confronted Rasheeda about past favoritism and secret maneuvers, pointing out how certain family members had been sidelined while others were given advantages. The cameras captured every detail, ensuring that viewers would experience the raw, unfiltered intensity of the moment. Friends and family, caught in the crossfire, struggled to mediate, but the tension was unstoppable, each accusation giving rise to another, deeper revelation. The emotional stakes soared as secrets long buried came to light, and the dynamics within the family shifted with every passing moment. The episode was becoming an unrelenting storm of betrayal, confrontation, and emotional turmoil. Fans were riveted, glued to their screens, analyzing every interaction and debating who was truly in the wrong. The confrontation reached its peak when Jessica and Jasmine revealed financial manipulations and hidden agendas that had affected the entire family, leaving Rasheeda and Kirk cornered and defensive. The room's energy was almost unbearable, charged with raw emotion and anticipation, every second thick with tension. Alliances were shifting, loyalties tested, and relationships strained as the confrontation continued to spiral, threatening to permanently alter the family's foundation. The cameras captured every heated exchange, every flash of anger, every tear, every look of disbelief, leaving viewers feeling as if they were standing right in the room. The storm of revelations and confrontations seemed endless, each moment layered with suspense, drama, and intensity. It was clear that this episode of LHHATL was destined to be remembered as one of the most explosive and emotionally charged, with repercussions that would echo far beyond the immediate conflict. The room barely had a chance to settle before Jessica dropped yet another bombshell, this time exposing private conversations that suggested Rasheeda had been intentionally influencing family decisions behind closed doors. "You think we wouldn't find out?" she demanded, her eyes locked on Rasheeda. "We know everything, and we're not staying silent anymore." Kirk tried to interject, but Jasmine's gaze cut him off, sharp and unyielding. "Don't waste your breath. We've got proof, and it's more than enough to show how deep this manipulation goes." The tension reached new heights as the previously neutral cast members began sharing their own experiences, further confirming Jessica and Jasmine's claims. The room felt like a pressure cooker, every revelation adding fuel to the fire. Fans online were obsessed, live streaming reactions, posting theories, and dissecting every interaction, hashtags trending as the drama unfolded. Rasheeda attempted to justify her actions, claiming misunderstandings, but the mountain of evidence made her words almost meaningless. Kirk's repeated denials fell flat as Jessica and Jasmine systematically dismantled his arguments with facts, dates, and recorded messages. The confrontation escalated into a full-blown verbal battle, voices raised, tempers flaring, and emotions running raw. Each side fought to assert their perspective, but Jessica and Jasmine's relentless pursuit of truth kept them on the defensive. The cameras captured every detail, ensuring viewers at home could feel the storm raging in real time. Just when it seemed the confrontation could not get any more intense, Jessica revealed that she had discovered evidence of outside interference, suggesting that certain family members had been secretly working with individuals to manipulate situations and outcomes. The revelation left everyone in the room stunned, creating a ripple of shock and disbelief. Alliances shifted as loyalties were questioned, friendships tested, and the family's unity hung by a thread. Kirk and Rasheeda were increasingly cornered, their attempts to control the narrative failing as each new piece of evidence emerged. Fans online were relentless, analyzing, theorizing, and reacting in real time, turning the episode into a social media sensation. The confrontation continued to escalate, with secrets spilling out, accusations mounting, and emotions running unchecked. It was clear that this was more than just a fight, it was a reckoning, a moment that would forever change relationships, trust, and power dynamics within the family. Every accusation, every denial, every revelation pushed the conflict to new extremes, leaving both those present and viewers at home captivated, shocked, and questioning what the ultimate outcome would be. The room remained tense, the storm of emotion far from subsiding, as Jessica and Jasmine maintained their relentless pursuit of truth, determined to expose every hidden agenda, every act of betrayal, and every deception that had long been concealed. The confrontation had reached a point where there seemed to be no turning back. Jessica and Jasmine stood their ground, relentless, exposing every secret, every lie, and every manipulation that Rasheeda and Kirk had tried to hide. The room was charged with electricity, voices overlapping, tempers flaring, tears streaming, and emotions running raw. Friends and family, caught in the middle, were scrambling to mediate, but the storm was unstoppable. Just as it seemed the tension couldn't get any higher, a final revelation emerged, evidence suggesting that even more members of the family had been indirectly involved in keeping secrets, and that the ripple effects of these betrayals reached far beyond what anyone had imagined. Kirk and Rasheeda, once confident and commanding, were now on the defensive, visibly shaken, forced to confront a reality that had been carefully hidden for years. Jessica, her eyes blazing, addressed them both directly. "You've manipulated, you've lied, and now the truth is out. It's time to own it, because we're not letting this slide." Jasmine nodded beside her, her voice unwavering. "This isn't just about us. It's about accountability, honesty, and respect. You can't pretend anymore." The cameras captured every moment, the stares, the silences, the sharp words, and the tension that hung in the air like a storm cloud ready to break. Fans online were in a frenzy, reacting in real time, sharing every shocking moment, debating loyalties, and dissecting every exchange. The episode had become more than just reality TV, it was a spectacle of emotion, betrayal, and raw human drama. The family, now visibly divided, had to grapple with the aftermath of years of secrets and manipulations coming to light. Alliances had shifted, friendships tested, and relationships strained, leaving everyone questioning how the family could move forward. Yet amidst the chaos, one thing was clear: Jessica and Jasmine had seized control of the narrative, forcing a reckoning that could no longer be ignored. As the room slowly began to settle, the weight of the revelations lingered, leaving a tense silence, broken only by whispered conversations and the sound of hearts still racing. Viewers were left on the edge of their seats, knowing that this episode would have long-lasting repercussions, and that the fallout from the confrontation would ripple through every aspect of the family's life. The storm had passed for now, but the questions remained. How would Rasheeda and Kirk respond? Could trust ever be rebuilt? And who else might be hiding secrets that could erupt at any moment? One thing is certain: this is a chapter in LHHATL history that fans will not soon forget. Now, it's your turn to weigh in. What do you think about the shocking revelations and the way Jessica and Jasmine confronted Rasheeda and Kirk? Do you think the family can recover, or is the damage too deep? Comment below with your thoughts, like this video if you were stunned by the drama, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode of the chaos, the secrets, and the explosive moments that only LHHATL can deliver. Your voice matters, and the discussion is just getting started. Join in, share your opinions, and let's see what the fans think about this unforgettable showdown.